Wow, interesting. The official sources report that Russia lost their submarine. The name of the submarine is Rostov-on-Don, which at first sounds quite strange for me because that particular submarine was already attacked by Ukraine long time ago. Let's go dig down to the story. And by the way, my friends, hello and welcome. My name is Dennis, and this is the latest update from Ukraine. I guess you already have seen those kind of the images. It's the particular submarine Rostov-on-Don, which was hit several months ago in Sevastopol harbor, the main Russian Navy base in the Black Sea. By the time the submarine was located in the dry maintenance dock, together by the way with the big Russian landing ship Minsk. At first, Russians report about the severe damages to the submarine, and the said military blogger said that the submarine is absolutely no-go, but after all, Russia decided to repair the submarine. So the first strike happened on September 13, 2023, quite a long time ago, almost 1 year has passed. But after it, Russia managed to restore the submarine, spending millions and millions of rubles. And they even put the submarine out of the dry docks for the test exercises. So it was just floating on the water of the harbor, and apparently today it was struck again by Ukraine. Well, actually it happened on August the 2nd, and today we have the confirmation about it, that Ukraine forces claim that Rostov-on-Don sank on the spot after the drone and missile strike on Sevastopol and also damaged S-400 launcher located not far away from the bay. So the repaired Russian submarine finally was sank. Well, for now we have not just official statements from the Ukrainian side, we also have some of the satellite images dated from today. Unfortunately for now, those are not the best quality images, so Russia put the cover over the test spot of the particular submarine, so they covered it with special net. And Ukraine later on hit the particular spot. You may see that there is something really abnormal in the place. So in parallel with those photos, the information came that definitely submarine sank down. Well, in general, I'm still monitoring the informational field to get more clues about what happened out there. It's very hard to prove actually this case with the submarine. I mean, you can only have the detailed images of the submarine if you dive to the bottom of the bay and take those pictures. The eyewitnesses will not share those photos for sure, and the Russian officials would never recognize that they lost the submarine. It's definitely hard to prove, and there is the chance that the submarine wasn't hit. If it wasn't hit, obviously, after some time, after a few months, we're gonna see it somewhere in Sevastopol. But if those pictures in a while will not be shared by the Russian side as the confirmation that the submarine is alive, definitely Ukrainian information is correct. I think it is correct, but still we need to wait some time to definitely confirm that information. So the misconfirmation by the Russian side will be the confirmation in this case. The submarine is very important because it might carry some of the cruise missiles, so with the help of those, Russia actually might strike Ukrainian soil, hitting Ukrainian infrastructure. It was main reason for them to restore the submarine, because still this heavy maintenance is less expensive compared to building the new one. But it seems like they need to build a new submarine, but Russian economy really struggles with that. My friends, if you like my videos and if you want to support my channel, you may do it via Patreon. My Patreon page is available in the video description just below. Thank you so much for supporting my motivation. Then YouTube cancels monetization. And about the air defense systems which are used or were used to protect the particular area, well, we also have the satellite image and it shows the burned grass in the area. The image is dated from the date I am recording this video, the 3rd of August. It's hard to say the real state of the Russian defense judging on those images, but definitely something was hit on the Russian base, which is not far away from Sevastopol. Russia loses lots and lots of the air defense systems. ATACMS missiles really help a lot because they follow the ballistic trajectory, and for the Russian air defense it's very hard to cope with the threat. It's not impossible, they still may shut down ATACMS, but the effectiveness of ATACMS is still very high. About the Sevastopol city itself, it's my home city, and Putin started to build some of the shelters out there, those cement boxes with kind of the thin walls, as you may see over here. I think you may have thicker walls in your house than in the shelter. The shelter should be built underground, not on top, but here we even have the quote from Putin himself. We are ready to accept any challenge of the time and win, or be victorious, let's say. Vladimir Putin. So is it really a challenge, this special military operation and occupation of Crimea? I thought that Putin supporters should be happy about it, not to hide in a shelter. Why? Because the Russian army should protect them? No? Well, according to Putin, everything goes according to the plan. The plan includes losing the Russian Navy, including the very important submarines, and for people just to hide in the shelters. And here let's compare the shelter of one Russian military commander. No, it's not Shoigu, we have just his photo over here. Kind of the cozy place compared to the box you saw in Sevastopol. Wooden steps, and here's kind of the good door. You enter inside. Wow, it's like a flat, like a good apartment. Here you have the lady and the sofa, sorry, the bed, could be the sofa as well. President Putin, some of the flies flying, it's not good. Yeah, in the reflection you may see the sky, you may say that it's not the shelter, but it's a special lamp which gives the impression of the sky. By the way, that one costs a lot. And the girls are filming here, they say that they were sleeping at this sofa. Well, it looks like everything was included for the Russian, probably high-rank military commander. By the way, kind of the interesting placement of the erasers of this whiteboard, and you see that this military kind of girl has not a cheap phone, it's iPhone 15 Pro Max. She earned it well, I think in the same house. This video actually went viral on the Russian publics, and Z bloggers complain about the poor situation for the ordinary soldiers, comparing the dirty trenches with this underground palace. This is the actual situation for the Russian soldiers, that's what they experience right now. They went to this tube, which is usually used for the rainwater drainage, and it goes under the road. Here they put some of the reservoir to protect themselves from the possible drone strikes. That's the real situation for the Russian soldiers, not for the Russian commanders. They have absolutely different conditions, and mainly they don't care about those fighting on the front lines. Guys, on my Telegram I share more of the information about what is happening in Ukraine without censorship. Here I should filter my content, so I cannot show you the image of this big oil reservoir based in Rostov Oblast. Well, yesterday night Ukraine hit this facility quite hard, as well as Morozovsk airfield. About Morozovsk, yes, I filmed the video before, but we have some more data coming from that hotspot. This satellite image was filmed before, and you may see some of the traces from the last Ukrainian attack on this military airfield. It happened around 10 days ago. And here's the fresh image. You may see that some of the clouds are covering the area. It's not good, so we'll have to wait for more detailed satellite images. But even now you may see more burns in that area. Now I'm very interested in this part. This is the Russian ammunition depot, which was definitely hit yesterday. So it is before and it is after. It is completely lost for the Russian army. So the airfield ammunition depot is totally disabled. There are no more gliding aviation bombs. There are no more missiles. Everything was kaboomed. So here you may see the airfield on the Google Maps, and if we zoom into the area, definitely there are lots of the shells at the ammunition facility. Later on, those shells are delivered with the help of those kind of the trucks to the airfield itself to reload everything on the airplanes, and they fly to bomb Ukrainian positions or Ukrainian infrastructure. And you may say that there is one more ammunition storage, but no guys, it's the fuel storage over here. You may say that Russians were trying to protect everything with the ground walls. Maybe it might help, but in a case with this storage over here, it didn't help much because the kabooms were very, very powerful. And from what I see, it is the only munition storage out there. So fuel storage, munition storage, administrative center buildings, the airport, the taxiway, some of the parking stands for the airplanes, and here the maintenance area. So definitely the airfield has been demilitarized. At the same time, this measure is temporary because Russia may deliver more munitions to the place, but Ukraine again may strike the same spot. So Russians will have to locate lots of the air defense systems, moving them probably from the other vulnerable spots. Russia has the limited number of the air defense systems, and now they cannot protect all of their infrastructure. Maybe even Ukraine harms this particular airport to open the way for the drones to hit something else. In general, for Russia, this airport is important because it's located not that far away from Ukrainian border, and they mainly use the airfield to drop bombs on Ukrainian positions somewhere on the east. Sorry guys, I had to blur the video of the oil storage burning in Rostov Oblast as well. Yeah, lately everything is connected with Rostov. The name of the submarine was Rostov-on-Don, the airfield was in Rostov-on-Don, as well as this particular oil depot. Kind of strange, but that's how it works. And the Ukrainian government promised more of the strikes on the Russian very sensitive infrastructure, since Ukraine doesn't have enough resources to repel all of the Russian attacks. On the east, for example, Ukraine concentrated its resources on striking behind the front lines, the very sensitive Russian infrastructure, which in its way also might lead to the situation change on the front lines. For example, with the yesterday's strike on Morozovsk airfield, Russia will use many of the gliding bombs for sure, and maybe they will not advance that fast towards Pokrovsk, and they will just have to waste more of their soldiers to achieve the same goals. Also, we have the news that Ukraine little by little modernizes the Neptune missiles. Before, the function of the missile was just the anti-ship one, but now Ukraine wants to use them as the standard cruise missiles. According to the most recent news, Romania will help a lot with that modernization. Potentially it could be as devastating as ATACMS, for example, but the nature of the missile is different. ATACMS is the ballistic missile and this is the cruise missile. For now it may fly just very close to the water or to the ground using the ground effect. So more airfoils should be added for this missile to fly a little higher to avoid obstacles. Ukraine again uses the very effective tactics against the Russian surveillance drones. So here is the Ukrainian FPV drone. It hits the Russian surveillance Zala drone. I just don't know how, but the Russian operator of the drone seems like was expecting this drone to arrive from the side. That's why he or she moved the camera. Probably he, because there are more males in the Russian army compared to females after all. And later on the Russian surveillance drone just lost the signal. So this FPV drone's tactics works quite well, and Russia is just unable to protect their surveillance drones because there is no way to do it. If they put some of the drone jammers to their Zala drones, so it will jam their own signal, plus it will make the construction very heavy. And definitely there is no real cure against those kind of the interceptions. Right guys, let's deviate a little from the Ukrainian topic to the Middle East. There the Allies launched a surveillance mission. They monitored the airspace for the possible missile launches from Iran. And the refueling airplane is also flying not far away from the Greece coast. Plus some of the transport airplanes were sent to the Kuwaiti base of the United States. I wonder what they could deliver out there, maybe some of the anti-drone systems, who knows. Meanwhile, Iran thinks about so-called revenge. They accuse the United States and first of all Israel for using the short-range projectile which aimed towards the Hamas leader, very successfully by the way. Here I wonder from what that short-range missile was launched. Kind of interesting because it happened in Tehran, so there could be potentially the launcher on the car or on some sort of the drone or maybe even a helicopter, who knows. But Iran is now looking for the possible betrayed in its army, and they even start some of the arrests. As usual, as it happens in every dictator country after any sort of the assassination attempt. Well, after all, I guess that Iran will try to perform some sort of the strike on Israel, and also they're gonna use their proxies, for example, also in Lebanon. And there are many countries warning their citizens to leave Lebanon because Israel might strike their own operation against Hezbollah movement, which is located in Lebanon. And today Hezbollah actually struck Israel using mostly uncontrolled missiles, so the Iron Dome coped with most of those. As for the possible ground operation of the Israeli forces, well, it's gonna be much tougher compared to the Gaza Strip, because here the terrain, as you may see, is kind of hard for offense and good for defense. Lots of the hills, mountains, valleys, rivers and so on. Just for you to understand, we may take the example of Chechnya. So Russia was able to establish control over all of the Chechnya, as they say, but still in the mountainous area, even now you may find some certain resistance against the Russian federal forces. Yeah, the resistance is not significant, but anyway, sometimes they cause troubles for the Russian police. How do I know it? Well, basically till 2014 I had a mate, my childhood friend, who is actually Russian, and he is the helicopter pilot for the Russian police. I don't know if he's alive now or not. Now I don't really care because of this full-scale war against Ukraine, and he is the part of, let's say, Russian military. But by that time they performed some of the missions against the local resistance, carrying some special forces on board of their helicopters right to the mountainous terrain. So I don't think that Lebanon will be easy walk for Israeli army, as we saw how Israeli army advanced in the Gaza Strip. Well, there was the resistance, but it wasn't really so dramatic for Israeli well-equipped army. Here I think that the situation might be a little different. Now autocracies want to fuel the tensions in the Middle East, especially Iran and Russia. Russia even wanted to send their weaponry to the Yemeni Houthis. They thought it could be some sort of the response for the United States' permission for Ukraine to use some termination on the Russian territory. But Saudi Arabia forced Russia to give up those plans. Probably they negotiated about something. Right, and now let's go to Ukraine for the front lines updates. And Russia took more ground. As usual, they take every day. For today, they moved from Novoselivka, Persia, just a little, but still they have this assault vector. They've took Novoselivka, Persia, I think 1 week ago, and now they use it as the hub for further advancements. But the worst news are not over here. The bad news that Russia launched the strike towards Zelane village using their artillery, drones, and basically everything, causing losses for Ukrainian army. We have the confirmation about it, and even the Mayuko 73 may confirm that, so Ukraine lost many of the vehicles. The worst thing for Ukraine could be over here, because this area is under the risk of being just encircled by the Russian army, and if Russia occupies Zelane, they will go further, and as you may see, there are just occasionally Ukrainian defense lines in the area, so there is no huge resistance possible from the Ukrainian side. Here there are some of the defense lines, but Russia will try to bypass those by striking from the north. Also not so good news that Russia managed to cross this river in the Chasiv Yar. They advanced with their forces, so yesterday and today. The gray area already covers the western part of the city, which is the major part of the city. I know that Ukraine has the defense out there, and probably it was broken in this direction. Guys, I'm saying the situation as it is. I speak truth on my channel, so you see that Russia takes the ground. And Ukraine is now mostly concentrated to hit the Russian infrastructure behind the front lines and on the Russian territory. There Ukraine definitely has success. You know, some of the YouTube channels are just getting crazy. For example, this one with this crazy thumbnail. 1 minute ago, the Ukrainian F-16s hit 3 of the Russian Tupolev 95 strategic bombers. Yahoo! Yes, I also want to share some of the positive news on my channel, because I know, guys, that you like it, but I don't want to make up the story, something that doesn't really exist. To encourage you, I usually start my videos from the positive news for Ukraine and I think for us in general, but I would never say that kind of the bullshit which still exists. Some say that the videos like that are Ukrainian propaganda, but I would say it's the anti-Ukrainian propaganda, because no one would trust us pro-Ukrainian bloggers. Yes, I also may have some of the bias because I'm Ukrainian myself, but I would never intentionally share the lies on my channel, and if I share some of the wrong information, I apologize for that and say, okay guys, I was wrong, it was fake. But here the videos like that are fakes themselves. And finally, to the United States politics, Kamala Harris will run from Democrats, and Donald Trump announced that he has agreed with Fox News to debate Kamala Harris on September the 4th. Well, still waiting for the reaction from Kamala Harris on that. I think that Fox News could be the platform for the future debates, because the previous debates with Joe Biden happened in CNN studio. Yeah, the Fox News is the pro-Republican media, but still the first debates happened in the pro-Democratic media, and Trump actually went there. So for Kamala Harris, I think it doesn't really matter where to debate Donald Trump. I would say that the moderators of CNN did a great job asking both of the candidates, and I would say they looked more educated compared to the candidates. but we'll see how the story is going to develop, because it seems like we have some of the signals. I just checked it recently that maybe Kamala Harris will not participate in those particular debates, because the previous debates were agreed on September the 10th on ABC channel. Well, anyways, we'll see how it goes. I think that debates should happen between those two candidates. Kamala Harris got more points than Joe Biden decided to drop off, but still, according to the recent polls, Trump has the lead still. And the difference between him and Kamala is not that high. So after the failed debates for Joe Biden, Trump got the lead sometimes up to 3.4 points. But here you may see a huge jump from Harris after the candidate swap. So Donald Trump leads by 1.7 points, and this gap is narrowing, as you may see. But it also depends on the swing states. Now some of them will vote for Harris. Some of the polls, like for example this one and this one, even give the lead for Kamala Harris, but the majority still give Donald Trump the lead. As some of my fellow YouTubers try to predict the outcome of the elections, I think I wouldn't do it on my channel. I'll tell you the picture, but at the current situation with this tiny little gap, it's really hard to predict the picture. I don't want to be a failed fortune teller. But definitely the future of the world and Ukraine is very dependent on the election result, and for this reason I will continue to speak about the United States politics. And now, my friends, please don't forget to press your huge like to this video. By doing so you help me a lot, and as usual I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.